Today we're going to be learning how to write out extremely large numbers. I know this sounds a little daunting, they're kind of long, but we're going to learn. We're learning how to write large numerals today. This is important because sometimes large numbers come up in the news. They say it, but we don't really know what they mean. You can also use it to compare and contrast different populations, like that of Ames and Des Moines, just to see how they compare. I have this really big number that I have thought up in my mind, maybe. I'm going to show it to you all. It is this number right here. Does anyone have any guesses as to what this might represent? I know it's a pretty long number. There's kind of a few numbers in that line. Does anyone have any guesses that they want to come up with? You can say anything. All right. You're right. I know, isn't that so cool? And it's such a large number. But right now it just kind of looks like a really long line of numbers. Almost looks like a telephone number if you ask me. Our job today is we're going to decipher it and figure out how to write it all down in number form. So to start this out, we're going to first look at our number. It has quite a few numbers in it. To break this up so that it's a little easier to look at, we first are going to add our commas. Commas break it up into groupings of 3 numbers, but to do this correctly, we start at the very end of the number and we work backwards. So for every 3 numbers, it gets a comma. So go 1, 2, 3, we add a comma. 1, 2, 3, we add another comma. 1, 2, 3, we add our last comma. Once we've added all the commas that we can, we don't have any more groups of 3 in there, we move on to our next step, which is counting up and adding our place value number numeral. So right now we have our first grouping. We start on the very right hand side, and this is our hundreds place value. Then we move up to the next one, and this will be our thousands place value. We move up to our next one. This will be our millions place value. We move up to where our 7 is, and this is our billions place value. I know this seems a little daunting, but your guys' job today will be to write this number out in numeral form. So when we start to write our number out, we're going to write this all out. So it won't be 7, we're going to actually spell out 7. So we spell out our 7, and then we add our place value, which will be billion. Next, because we have a comma next, we add a hyphen. A hyphen is a little dash between things, and it works kind of like a link. So in this case, it's going to take the place of our comma, and it's going to link all of our numbers together. So we'll add our hyphen, and then we move on to our next one, which will be us in our millions place. You guys already know how to write out your 1, 2, and 3-digit numbers, so we can do this already, which will be 695. We're going to write that out fully. 695. And then, once we have written out our full number, 695, we add our place value name, which will be million. Then, since we have another comma here, we add our hyphen. Then we move on to the next one. We just repeat these steps until we don't have any more groups of 3 left. So our next one is 912. We're going to write that out. 912. And since we moved down one more place value, we're in our thousands, so we add the word thousand. And because now we've come to our comma, we add our very last hyphen because it's our very last comma. And we move on to our very last set, which is just 501. I know, it's a lot of words for just one number. But this officially is how many people are on the planet right now as of Wednesday morning. So we have 7,695,912,501. Isn't that awesome? All right, I'm going to have you guys grab a whiteboard, an eraser, and a marker each. I'm going to hand you guys each one of these number note cards. They have these really cool numbers on them. And we'll go around. Our job today is we're going to start with someone first. I want you all to write down whatever number they show you guys, and then we're going to have them start with whatever our step 1 would be. The person following them will do step 2, and then step 3, and we'll go all the way around until we're all the way done with their number. Sound good? Any questions? Make sense? Does anyone want to start their number first? Good job, Cam. All right. You want to show your number to everybody?
Okay.
You can either hold it up or put it in the middle, whatever works. You all need to
Put it in the middle.
copy this number down here. I can even hold it for you
Okay.
guys. This is the number that we're going to decipher. We're going to write it out in full number form, so leave a little bit of space so that you can write it out later. Awesome. Okay, Cameron, what do you think our first step would be in deciphering this number?
Break it up into groups of 3.
With what?
Commas.
Perfect. Will you add that step? Everyone's going to copy Cameron, whatever she's doing. We're adding our commas. Perfect. Okay, Beth, what do you think our second step would be?
Labeling the last 3 as hundreds, the middle 3 as thousands, and then the first 3 as millions.
Correct. Thank you. All right, Lorelai, what do you think our third step would be in deciphering this number?
Would it be writing out 328?
Correct. So if you guys want to all do that on your boards, that would be great. And spelling, as long as it's close, we're all good. All right, Caitlin, what do you think our, fourth step would be?
Yeah. Well,
What did you just do?
adding the hyphens.
We don't want to forget our hyphens if you haven't put it in there. Okay, what about our fifth step?
Writing out the 589,000.
Correct. Awesome, guys. This looks so good. And don't forget your hyphen, because it's going to take the place of our comma. Keely, last, final step. What do you think it is?
Right, 507.
Correct. Do we need to add a hyphen after our 507? Good job. Okay, I actually didn't make up these numbers all by myself. This is actually the U.S. population as of 2017. All right, does someone else want to do their number? You guys can clear your boards. I know it's a lot of writing. We don't have to go through all of these, but if anyone has a number they think looks the coolest, I definitely think it's the 7 one. We're going to do the 7 one. Because I'm very excited about what this one happens to represent.
This one?
No.
Oh, I thought it was going to
No. That would be cool, though. Okay. Does anyone want to start out? Tell us what our first step would be. Yeah, go ahead, Keely.
Breaking it into step 3s.
Correct. What do we do that with?
Commas.
Great job. Okay, second step. Anyone can do this. We don't have to go in order. Beth, what's our second step?
Hundreds and thousands.
Correct. Okay, what about our third step? Where do we start with writing our number? Do we do it at the end or at the beginning?
begin.
Perfect. So what would that number be?
777,000.
Correct. And don't forget our hyphens. Take our places, our commas. Our last step would be writing which number? Perfect. Does someone want to read our number fully for us? Because that would be great.
77,943.
Perfect. Okay. This actually represents the number of cowherds in Iowa.
Oh, that's a good one.
cowherds.
That's the best.
I know, right? Isn't that awesome? Okay, I think we'll do one last one. Does anyone have a hankering for their number to be
What one's the most fun?
that one?
Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, what is our first step in this process? Someone tell me.
Writing it up with a comma.
Yeah, how many
Three.
numbers go between commas?
Three.
Good job. Okay, what would be our second step? Do we start at the end, the beginning, somewhere in the middle?
We have to add our hundreds and thousands.
Ooh, you're right.
And then we start at the beginning.
Yeah. What number is it?
61.
61. Awesome. All right, what about our second number? It's pretty easy because there's quite a few zeros in it.
500.
500. Perfect. And since it doesn't have a comma after it, it doesn't get a hyphen. So that's our final number. This one's kind of short. Can someone read me the number that they've written out?
61,500.
Awesome. This is the number of people that fit in Jack Trice. Isn't that cool? Okay, you guys can clear your boards. You can also put your whiteboards, your markers, your erasers back in the center of the table. That would be awesome. All right, you guys are each going to get a sheet of paper. I want you guys to number it 1 through 5. I'd leave probably 3 lines between each number, just because we're going to write them all out again, but this time on paper. There might be more than one. I thought that felt a little thick.
1 through 5?
1 through 5. But leave at least 2, if not 3, spaces between each of your numbers. So we're going to need quite a bit of room. These are kind of long numbers. Perfect. All right, I'm going to give you guys each one of these numbers. We're going to go around the group kind of the same way we did before. You guys are each going to hold up a number so that everyone can write it down. And then on your own, we're going to write out the full thing. Remember your step 1, your step 2, your step 3, and so on. So Keely, will you start with holding up your number so that everyone can copy it down? And then once I see that everyone's pencils are down on their paper when they're finished for the first number, we'll move on to Cameron's number. You guys are free to start whenever you have it written down. We'll move on in a little bit.
Just kidding.
You're good. I'm going to put out these helpful hints in the middle in case you need help with your spelling on anything. All right, Cameron, do you want to hold up your number so that everyone can copy it down and do their number 2?
Good.
And then when you're finished, just stop writing or put your pencils down. Great job, guys. Beth, if you want to hold up your numbers so that everyone else can copy it down. I know. I think that's the biggest. Oh, no, actually, Caitlin has the biggest one. All right, Lorelai, do you want to hold up your number so that everyone else can copy that number down?
Everyone got it?
Thank you, Lorelai.
I spelled 40 wrong every time.
That's why it's on the sheet, because it's the only one that's not the number with a TY at the end.
I just spelled it wrong this whole time too.
That's okay.
I'm not changing it, sorry.
That's all right. We aren't counting grammar in this.
I think this is my first time knowing that's how it's spelled.
Yeah, Jeanette actually had brought it up to me. She was like, put 40 on your helpful hints list because that's the only one that's different. All right, is everybody complete with their number 4?
Give me like 60 seconds.
All right.
I don't even know where I went.
There we go.
Yeah, Kaylin, you can hold yours up.
There we go. Thanks.
All right. This is our last and final one. It'll be your number 5. I know, it's pretty long. You guys got this. I believe in your skills.
My arm hurts.
I know, it's a lot of writing.
I can't wait to want to make this so you guys suck it up.
And then when you guys are done, you can put your pencil on your paper, and then we'll collect them, and we'll do a quick little review.
This is how it's a word.
Are you all done, Beth? I can take your sheet from you. And remember to put your names on the top, too. Thank you.
I keep writing the comma instead of the.
The hyphen. When you're happy with your work, I will take it from you. Are you happy? Thank you. Thank you.
Oh wait, I forgot to write my name.
I know it's you. You're the only one that didn't put your name on it. All right, thank you guys. All right, so I just want to talk about a quick few things before we're all done here. So we're learning how to write out these big numbers for just a couple reasons. They're kind of useful in life. I know you probably don't know how to do this, but your parents do. We use these numbers when we write out checks to people. So if we wanted to teach our parents later tonight and they didn't know how to write out a check, how would we explain the steps to write out all these numbers to them? What would our first step be when we have to write out a really big number? Yeah, with a comma. Great, okay. What about our second step? Do we go right in and we start on the number? Do we have to add anything?
We should list the hundreds.
Yes, our place values. Perfect. And then when we start writing out our number, do we start at the beginning, the end, somewhere in the middle? The beginning, great. And then do we just stop there? Do we repeat the process? Do we only do it twice, or do we do maybe the whole number? Anyone?
You go to like the comma and then you add a hyphen
Perfect.
and then you keep going.
Yeah, we repeat the process. So later tonight, I would highly recommend you tell your parents how to do this later because it is very useful. We can compare populations. We can talk about the federal budget. We can talk about writing out checks. All right. Thank you, guys.
So good.
Aw, thanks. I'm glad. Now we know all how to write out checks.